crazy? I remember in 2016, before I did my research, I didn't know this. If it was 2016 and I knew it was so much bullshit in the 90s, I'd be like, yo, y'all fucking tripping. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of weak ass shit going on out there. And I always think about a hip, a hop, a hip.
Rappers Delight?
You know what I'm saying? And I be thinking like, damn, bro, y'all be really acting like we just just couldn't. Like, we was the only niggas saying some shit that didn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was hipping and hopping in. And I'm like, come on, bro, that shit was weak as hell, bro. Like, niggas acting like, no, bro, come on. Yeah, I do shoot my brother to the store, and I went in the grocery store. Come on, bro. Yeah, acting like that shit wasn't weak. That shit was dumb weak, bro. But niggas acting like we was the only ones that made some crazy shit. I think I agree with you. I do think that there was more intention, probably, right? You had a DMX, and you had a Busta Rhymes, and you had a Tupac, and you had all these
Tribe Called Quest,
all these,
Nas,
of course, and you had all these Prodigy and Mobb Deep. So you did have. There was a lot more. You know what I will say? I think that hip hop lost its. Like, it's what's the word for, like, just like the way there was division. Like, if you was from the West, you sounded like it. If you was from the North, you sounded like it.
Yeah, I think the region, I feel like the internet removed,
I guess, distinctiveness.
Yeah, and there was also,
I said I'm never coming back again. Next I stepped away from the mirror. I got my mind made up now, cause I can see the future much clearer. I know this is an old clip, but this is why hip-hop sucks. This is why rap sucks. This is why music sucks. Because people who were in it didn't take the time to learn anything about it to make it better. And you know, there are people along the way, and don't get me twisted, there are people who were making rap in the 90s, 2000s, who didn't really care about rap, but they cared about making money. But here's the issue. There were a lot of people who knew how to be good at something, how to be excellent. Like, nobody's buying my stuff if I'm whack. And so you had to be better than people prior to you, right? So what Yachty talking about is, people was whack in the 90s. It was a hip, because what he talking about was the Sugar Hill Gang. Rap was Delight. That was like 70s, late 70s, if I'm not mistaken. So he said it was whack in the 90s, but he brought up the late 70s. And then he brought up people in the 90s. Oh man, they were Tupac and they were DMX and bro, that's the 90s people. The fuck is you talking about? And I realized, like, because people go, oh man, that's back in the day, that's old news, it's a new day. Yeah, and that's why y'all motherfuckers whack. That's why y'all make trash music, because you never compared what you make to classics like other people had to do. You got singers who don't know the notes or the keys. They just, it is what it is. They don't fucking know. So that's why certain people let me use this, like that's why, like, you got Chris Brown, right? He can always make great music because he had to outdo great music from the start. So the bar was higher. So this concept of, I can be famous, well, I can get rich and have a low bar. I'm not finna lie. Like, people thought Master P was whack. People thought Silk the Shocker was one of the wackest people of all time. That's 90s, right? But here's the other thing. They had so many people who were, and even Master P made classics. That's the thing about it. There were so many people. There was a plethora of, you had to, if you had to do something, you had to beat out these people to get to the top. You had to beat out these people, like, because if I'm not mistaken, Eminem came out in the 90s, Nelly came out in the 90s, DMX was the 90s. Like, these were, Pocket was definitely the 90s, Big J 90s. Like, 2000s was I wanted, like Outkast 90s. Mob Deep, Wu-Tang, 90s. Like shit. Goody Mob, 90s. It's like Dre, 90s. Snoop, 90s. Twister, Common, 90s. Bone Thugs and Harmony, 90s. Fuck. I think even Ja Rule was in the 90s at first. Like, the competition was just real strict and steep. And they did make a point later on when it was like, people weren't, people were in their region. And I'm missing a whole lot of people in the 90s, by the way. I already know that. Like Busta Rhymes, yes. When he went solo, 90s. You know what I'm saying? It's Nas. I'm sorry. Not 90s. You get what I'm saying? It's so much that was done that overshadowed whackness because you couldn't be whack. I'm tripping. Fuck. I just thought about that. Tribe Called Quest. You know what I'm saying? 90s. But I'm not saying that just to. I'm saying that because y'all don't have as many great artists now because you didn't look back in music history. Like, you got to understand, a lot of the rappers, they weren't necessarily competing with rappers at first. You gotta be on par with Frankie Beverly and Maze, with Aretha, Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown, like when they were big. You get what I'm saying? You actually had to compete against New Edition, Morris Day, Prince. Like that's who rappers were competing with in the 80s to the 90s. Luther Vandross. So I gotta make music on par with this stuff. So there was more competition. There was more competition because you had to be great to get the people, and now you don't. Like now y'all go, and it's so repetitive because everybody's really saying the same type of shit in the same cadence. And they really ain't talking about shit. And that's the other thing about like what happened to the music. It's like, yo, y'all not living, dog. And I can tell y'all not living because by the music y'all talking about, it's like it's really no substance to it because you didn't have a substantive life. And and a lot of y'all wanted to be rappers and stars and shit. And don't get it twisted. People are not mad because you've got rich, you made money. People are mad because they know, like, there was a time with us where, excuse me, where you had to get the people locally in your city, right? You had to get an underground following, and then people will rock with you. And let me go backwards for a second with this. Y'all don't realize how many people who didn't blow up in the 90s really were influential in the 90s. Like they were, they were rappers from Mississippi, Alabama, because they didn't get to shine because of where they were from, right? Arkansas, like they had Tennessee. Well, Memphis kind of got their thing rolling, but they had rappers in smaller markets, excuse me, that didn't blow up, and other artists would use like their songs and their cadences. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't think y'all know, like, Never Scared. There's a song that Biggie did that was actually somebody else's shit. Because there's a couple of cats like in Mississippi, Alabama, they made some heat and people basically stole it. Now because of the internet, everybody can put stuff out, which is, and one thing that's a dope thing, and another thing, but because everybody can put stuff out, everybody just thinks they're dope without actually getting their shit critiqued and getting better at music. And that's part of the issue too, because if you didn't go back, you didn't really study the styles. That's why I can tell, most rappers can't really rap in different styles because y'all are bad imitations of other styles. Other sometimes flows, sometimes cadences. Because y'all really not that good at it because y'all really didn't study it. Y'all just wanted to do it. Like y'all didn't know that fast rapping has a cadence to it. You get what I'm saying? So I've seen people. I know people who could rap fast. The cadence. But it kept in beat. But y'all think rapping fast is. But it don't really have. And you can do that. But if it fits the beat, but most of the time y'all just this how they do it. No, that's not how they did it. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So y'all, y'all lack melody. Y'all lack, like I said, substance also. But I said that already. But also, the most important thing that's missing is feeling. A lot of this music has no feeling to it. A lot of it is empty. It's soulless. and just like they put out that to me is rage bait. He did his homework on the 90s and says a lot of it was weak, but he was talking about the 70s. A lot of y'all take shit out of context and y'all don't really know what you're talking about, so it makes you look crazy. Because of course, and I gotta say this even with Lil Yachty, you will compare yourself to Sugar Hill because that's about your level of skill rapping. You get what I'm saying? You couldn't fast forward to Big Daddy Kane. Cool Mo D, and he was still kind of, he was still part of that style, but you couldn't. You gotta remember, L.A.R came out in the 80s. You couldn't keep up with that. But I'm gonna leave it alone at that, man. Y'all tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.